Why do women come back after rejecting you? The truth is, it's not what you've been led to believe by mainstream advice or dating experts. It's not because they realized you're the one or that they miss you. In fact, the real reason might shock you. She never actually wanted to let go of you in the first place. The reality is, women return because they regret losing their power over you. They come back because they can't stand seeing you move on, level up, and live your life without them. It's that man, the one who doesn't need her, that drives them wild. That's the kind of man who takes control, not by begging for attention, but by simply showing he's fine on his own. In today's dating world, relying on outdated advice like just be yourself or always be nice is a recipe for disaster. Women don't return because you're the nice guy. They return because they crave the challenge. I'm here to break down the real psychological triggers behind why women come back after rejecting you, straight to the heart of human behavior, social dynamics, and the unvarnished truth. Get ready to have your perspective flipped. Comment, mind blown, if you're ready to dive deep into this eye-opening journey, and stick around until the end, where I'll share the secret to turning her mind games into your ultimate advantage. Let's dive in and uncover the truth. Number 1. The power of indifference. Why do women come back after rejecting you? The answer lies in a game-changing concept: the power of indifference. The moment you stop chasing her, stop seeking her approval, and stop responding emotionally, something shifts. She'll wonder why you've suddenly stopped caring, and that's when you take back control. We live in an age where everyone craves instant attention: likes, comments, DMS. Women are bombarded with validation from multiple sources, constantly in the spotlight. But here's the kicker: when you stop feeding into that need for attention and step away, you instantly become different from the rest. Indifference isn't just an attitude, it's a magnetic force that pulls her back. Why? Because it's rare and unpredictable. Think about it. The typical guy will go into panic mode when she pulls away, sending endless texts and chasing her down. But you take a step back and focus on what truly matters: your growth, your goals, your purpose. You start building the life she's no longer part of, and that's what makes you irresistible. Picture this: you've been talking to a woman and things were going great. Then, out of nowhere, she goes silent or even ghosts you. Most men would panic, sending text after text, seeking answers. But not you. You don't care. You let her fade away, and instead you invest in yourself. Hitting the gym, advancing your career, leveling up your life. And guess what? She comes back. Why? Because your indifference has made her realize she no longer holds the power. Here's the truth you need to understand: when you chase, you lose. When you stop caring, the entire dynamic changes. Indifference is a magnet. Once you master it, women will be drawn back to you. But remember, true indifference isn't about pretending to be unaffected while secretly hoping for a text. It's about genuinely living your life as though her presence or absence makes zero impact. That's when the power truly shifts. Number 2. Self-worth beyond relationships. Here's the powerful truth that so many men miss: true value comes from within. The mistake most men make is attaching their self-worth to a woman's approval or affection. When a woman rejects them, they feel worthless, defeated, and desperate. But this is exactly the opposite of what attracts women. Real attraction comes when your value doesn't depend on anyone else's approval, especially not hers. Your worth must be rooted in your own self-belief and your own sense of identity, not in any external validation, whether from a relationship, friends, or even society. Women are naturally drawn to men who have a strong sense of self. When you hold yourself in high regard and live with purpose, without constantly seeking validation from others, You become the kind of man that women can't help but gravitate toward. Why? Because you're not trying to win her approval. You already approve of yourself. This confidence, this security in who you are, becomes incredibly attractive because it shows that you don't need her to complete you. You're already whole. In today's world, there's this pervasive belief that a man's value is somehow tied to his romantic success or his ability to attract women. Men are often conditioned to think that being in a relationship or receiving affection from a woman defines their success in life. But that's a trap. The truth is, real success comes from within. It's about living a life of purpose, setting personal goals, and achieving them. When you live like this, you're not seeking external validation to feel validated. You're already content with your own life, with or without a woman by your side. This, in turn, draws women to you because they can sense your inner strength and independence. Consider the men who are focused on building their careers, improving their fitness, and following their passions. They're not chasing women, they're chasing their own personal growth, and it's this pursuit of self-worth that naturally attracts attention. Women are drawn to men who have a life of their own and who are comfortable with who they are. When you stop seeking her approval, you'll notice that she starts seeking yours. The power dynamic completely shifts in your favor. The key is simple. Your value isn't determined by her response or how she feels about you. It's determined by what you do with your life, the goals you pursue, and how you show up for yourself. When you take ownership of your life and prioritize your own growth, everything else falls into place. You stop needing her approval, and that's when she begins to desire yours. Number 3, the perception shift. The moment you shift your focus away from her and start living your best life, something incredible happens. Her entire perception of you changes. When a woman rejects you, it's because of how she views you in that particular moment. But when you start leveling up and focusing on yourself, her view of you starts to shift in ways you never expected. Here's the thing. When she rejected you, she probably saw you as just another guy in her orbit, someone who didn't stand out or wasn't a priority. But now that you've stopped chasing her, stopped seeking her validation, and began leveling up in your own life, she starts noticing things she didn't before. Maybe you've transformed your body and are looking more confident than ever. Perhaps you've advanced in your career or are traveling the world, sharing your incredible experiences on social media. Suddenly, you're not the same guy she once walked away from. You've become the man she wishes she hadn't let go. Women are naturally competitive, and when they see a man they rejected thriving without them, something deep inside gets triggered. She starts to question herself. Did I make the right call? He's doing better than ever, and I'm not even part of his life. That feeling of doubt begins to gnaw at her, and before you know it, she's rethinking her decision and reaching out, acting like nothing ever happened. This perception shift is one of the most powerful psychological dynamics in dating. When you become the man she thought she didn't need, she'll quickly begin questioning her own judgment, and that's when the game really starts to change. You'll no longer be the guy she rejected, you'll be the man she wants back. Number 4, mastering calm in the storm. In today's dating world, chaos has become the new normal. Mixed signals, ghosting, unpredictable on-again, off-again situations. It's all part of the emotional roller coaster. But here's the key to gaining control. The man who stays calm, collected, and unshaken amidst this chaos is the one who ultimately wins. Most men crumble when faced with these emotional tests. They get frustrated when she pulls back, anxious when her texts become scarce, and frustrated when she plays emotional games. But here's the secret. Emotional fortitude is the game changer. Instead of reacting with desperation, the man who masters his emotions stands apart from the crowd. Women will always test your emotional strength, whether they're aware of it or not. It's part of their nature. They want to see if you can handle the pressure, if you can maintain your composure, or if you'll break under the weight of their shifting moods. Think about it. You're seeing a woman, everything is going smoothly, and then, out of nowhere, she begins acting distant or cold. The typical man will panic. He'll send a flurry of texts, desperately trying to understand what went wrong. But you take a deep breath, stay grounded, and don't let her behavior dictate your emotional state. You keep living your life, pursuing your goals, and improving yourself. Your happiness doesn't hinge on her actions or validation. Women have immense respect for emotional strength. When you don't flinch at her tests, when you remain calm in the face of her games, she'll begin to see you as the rock she can't shake. In a dating world full of uncertainty and emotional instability, that kind of emotional fortitude is incredibly rare and deeply attractive. The ability to stay composed no matter the chaos shows that you are a man who doesn't depend on external circumstances to feel secure or validated. This makes you stand out in ways she can't ignore. Number 5. Thriving beyond her. Want to know the real reason women come back? It's simple. They're irresistibly drawn to men who are thriving without them. It's the ultimate paradox. When you show that you can not only survive, but excel without her, she'll start wondering why she ever let you go. Here's the thing. Women are hardwired to crave what they can't have. When you're living a rich, fulfilling life on your own, you become something she wants but can't quite grasp. The moment she rejects you, she expects you to fall apart, chase her, or beg for another chance. But when you do the opposite, when you pour energy into your passions, hit the gym, focus on your career, and enjoy time with friends, you send a message louder than words ever could. It's not just about posting photos of your adventures or showing off your new improved life on social media. It's about the energy you radiate when you're genuinely living a life that excites you. When your happiness and success don't depend on her, she'll start to take notice. You've created a life that doesn't revolve around her, and that's incredibly attractive. Living well without her doesn't mean pretending you're fine. It means becoming the best version of yourself, independent and whole. Once you do that, not only will women from your past take notice, but new women will be drawn to you too. Why? Because you're showing self-sufficiency, confidence, and emotional independence, the exact qualities women crave in a partner. The secret is this: build a life that's so fulfilling and rewarding that her presence or absence no longer matters. And here's the irony. When you reach that point, she'll likely come running back. Why? Because you've become the man she wishes she hadn't let go. Number 6. The power of absence. In a world where we're always plugged in, texting, DMing, posting, most guys believe that staying in constant contact will somehow win her back. They think that if they keep the lines of communication open, they'll somehow turn the situation around. But here's the real secret. Absence is power. Women are emotional creatures, and when you stop reaching out, when you pull back completely, something shifts. You create a void in her life that she can't ignore. The constant flow of attention and validation she was used to dries up, and she's left wondering why. The more you withdraw, the more her curiosity builds. That's exactly when she'll start thinking about you more, and that's when she'll come back. Imagine this scenario. You've been texting her every day, checking in, making sure you're always there. But then one day you disappear. No texts, no calls, no check-ins. At first, nothing happens, but then the absence starts to take its toll. She feels the gap. It's human nature. When something familiar goes missing, curiosity and desire grow in its place. Now picture this. You've been casually seeing her. Everything seems to be going fine, and then she starts pulling back. She's testing you, or maybe her interest is waning, but instead of chasing her, you do the unexpected. You vanish. No more messages, no more attempts to reconnect. Weeks pass, and then one day, out of nowhere, she messages you, "Hey, how have you been?" Why? Because your absence triggered something inside her, a desire to know what's going on, to understand why you're no longer reaching out. The most common mistake men make after rejection is chasing after the woman. But when you step back, when you create that space, you allow her emotions to take over. She begins to question her decision, wondering why you've disappeared, and her mind starts to create stories. Eventually, she reaches out, and when she does, the power is in your hands. You now have the upper hand, and the decision to engage or not is entirely yours. Remember, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to simply disappear. Your absence will speak louder than any message or text ever could. Number 7. Mastering emotions and overcoming ego. Most men fail at the game of attraction because they let their ego take the reins. When a woman rejects you, it's natural for your ego to feel wounded. You might feel compelled to prove her wrong, show her that she made a mistake, or even chase after her to win her back. But here's where most guys make a critical error. Your ego is your greatest enemy. True strength comes from emotional mastery, not emotional reactions. When your ego controls you, you lose your clarity and start acting out of pride and insecurity. You're no longer thinking strategically. You're driven by a desperate need for validation. But when you learn to detach from your ego, everything changes. The reality is harsh, but it's the truth. Women often test men to see if they can manage their emotions. It's a subconscious game, and when a woman rejects you, she's waiting to see how you'll react. Will you get defensive? Will you plead for another chance? Will you let your anger or frustration show? If you do, you fail. But if you remain calm, if you show her that you're not rattled, you pass the test effortlessly. Emotional mastery is not just a skill, it's one of the most magnetic qualities a man can have. Women are drawn to men who exude calm and composure, who don't let their emotions rule their behavior. Imagine this. She rejects you, maybe even says something harsh. But instead of letting your pride take over, you smile, nod, and say, "I understand. Take care." Then you walk away with grace. That is emotional mastery. The moment you do this, her mind starts to question her decision. The truth is, when you stop chasing her validation and start focusing on your own emotional stability, you become the man who's unforgettable, the one who's not swayed by her actions or opinions. You've mastered yourself, and that's exactly what makes you irresistible. Number 8. Mastering your own power. One of the biggest challenges in modern dating is the feeling of helplessness, like you're constantly fighting a battle that's out of your hands. You can't control whether she replies to your texts, whether she's interested in someone else, or whether she'll come back after rejecting you. But here's the game changer. You don't need to. Focus solely on what you can control and forget the rest. When you're fixated on things beyond your control, like her feelings, her actions, or her decisions, you give away your power. You start chasing, overthinking, and getting trapped in a cycle of insecurity and neediness. But the real power lies in focusing on what you can control, yourself. You control your mindset, your actions, and your path to growth. When you start focusing on improving what's in your power, whether it's hitting the gym, advancing in your career, or cultivating meaningful relationships, you stop stressing about her. You stop waiting for her to validate you, and you begin becoming the best version of yourself. And guess what happens? She starts noticing you again. Women are naturally drawn to men who are in control of their own lives. They don't want a man who's constantly worried about them or trying to manipulate their feelings. What they want is a man who is confident, independent, and completely invested in his own goals and ambitions. When you shift the focus from controlling her to controlling yourself, you embody exactly what she's looking for. So let go of the obsession with controlling her decisions and actions. Instead, focus on mastering what you can control. When you do, not only will your relationships improve, but you'll see a profound transformation in every area of your life. Number 9, let your actions speak. In a world full of empty promises, words have lost their weight. Everyone can talk a big game, but few are willing to back it up with real effort. In relationships, this is especially true. Women hear countless promises. I'll change. I'll do better. I'll fix this. But here's the harsh reality. Words mean nothing without action. The real secret to winning her back or gaining her respect is simple. Stop talking. Start doing. If you've been rejected, the last thing you should do is try to convince her with promises. Don't say you'll change. Show her. Don't promise you'll get your life together. Do it. Shift your focus to your own growth and let your actions speak volumes. Picture this. You've been rejected, but instead of pleading or begging, you take a different path. You hit the gym, ramp up your career, spend time with friends, and start living your best life. And here's the kicker. You don't talk about it to her. She notices your transformation over time, maybe through social media or mutual acquaintances. You're not the guy who was begging for her attention. You're the guy who's leveled up, and she can't stop thinking about you. Women are drawn to men who act on their words, not to men who make promises they can't keep. If you want to win her back or captivate her, it's simple. Focus on taking real, decisive action. Build your life, improve yourself, and let your results do the talking. Remember, words fade, but actions speak the truth. Be the man who walks the walk, and she won't be able to resist. Number 10. The power of patience and persistence. Most men get caught up in seeking quick results, especially in relationships. They want to turn things around right now. They want to win her back instantly. But here's the secret that too many overlook. Real power comes from having patience and persistence over the long haul. If you're only looking for immediate gratification, you're setting yourself up for frustration and disappointment. Rejection is not the end of the road, it's a stepping stone. When a woman rejects you, the typical reaction is panic. You think, it's over, I've lost my chance. But that mindset is a trap. Rejection isn't final, it's an opportunity for growth. It forces you to pause, regroup, and take a deep dive into becoming a better version of yourself. This is where the magic happens. The long-term view is what sets successful men apart. They know that rejection is a brief moment in a larger journey. As you shift your focus toward personal growth, you start working on your career, your health, your passions. This journey builds you into someone who's more attractive, not just to women, but to life itself. You create a powerful, fulfilling life, one that doesn't depend on the approval of others. Women are drawn to men who have a sense of direction. The right woman will not be impressed by desperation, but by a man who is focused on long-term success and who is building a life she wants to be a part of. So stop obsessing over immediate results. Don't stress about getting her back right away. Instead, focus on becoming the person who is worth being with in the long term. The women who belong in your life will come to you because of the life you've created, not because you desperately sought their approval. Rejection becomes insignificant when you're on a journey of true self-improvement and long-term success. When you adopt this mindset, you'll stop chasing. Instead, you'll live your life with purpose and passion, attracting the right people, including the woman who may have once rejected you. By the time she comes back, you'll realize that you don't need her to complete your life. you've already built a life that's fulfilling, powerful, and full of potential. And that's what makes you truly irresistible. Thanks for sticking around until the end of this video. If you found value in what we discussed today, hit that subscribe button to support the channel and keep these valuable insights coming. Consider joining our memberships. Every bit of support helps us continue delivering raw, real talk about the challenges and growth that every man faces.